why don't we do a countdown from 5? We all know how to do that. You're going to start counting backwards in your birthdays too. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Yeah. Congratulations, everybody. All right, Teresa.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Bob Dunn, Chief of Police of the City of Fullerton. I'm going to give you a little bit of a history of how we got to where we got to today. So back in 2017, a group of Orange County police chiefs met with Senator Newman in his office, and the topic was public safety. And at the conclusion of that meeting, we decided that we needed to really focus for our communities on 3 areas: youth violence prevention, reentry and recidivism, and homelessness. And so with his partnership, we were able to go to the state, and they gave us an endowment of some monies to spread out through this entire region, all 11 cities here in the north. And we began working together with community-based organizations, making sure that they had the tools and the resiliency that they needed to continue the work in those areas for these last 5 years. We've been very fortunate over the last 2 years to get refunded, and we continue to do great work in those areas. And so as these cities began working together, we realized that in the area of homelessness specifically, that the population that we're encountering is transitory, obviously, and they move around. And so we began conversations, and the City of Fullerton stepped up due to the support of our City Council, and we located this facility here in Fullerton as a synergistic operations center for service providers to come to and provide services in a holistic way to our homeless neighbors here in our communities without respect to city borders. So now we operate all here out of one facility to bring the services to the point of work where our homeless neighbors are, and trying to break down those various barriers that prevent someone from taking the services at the time of offering. And so really what this center is about is bringing the right people, the right resources right now. And I think behind me you're going to hear from the rest of these distinguished speakers today, including our governor, who I'm very appreciative made the trip down here to be with us today. And I think you're going to see here the right people and the right resources right now. And so with that, I'd like to introduce our Mayor, Fred Jones.
Afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome our Governor Gavin Newsom to Fullerton. I want to extend my personal gratitude to him for his leadership on addressing homelessness and finding viable paths forward to those that are unhoused. Oftentimes, our solutions to homelessness, however well-intended, are unrealistic. And for many of our residents, the issue of homelessness hasn't gotten much better today than it was 5 or 10 years ago. Help is on the way. This homeless outreach and proactive engagement, or HOPE Center, is singular in the state. A dispatch center that brings together social service workers, mental health professionals, and law enforcement is the first of its kind, all under one roof to tackle this pressing issue of homelessness in a pragmatic, thoughtful, and compassionate way. This is a game changer, folks. It's one of a kind, and I expect this to be the model on how we address getting people off the street, out of their cars, and giving them a comprehensive wraparound services and sensible path forward. I want to thank the City of Buena Park, former Police Chief Corey Sines, our partner city on this ambitious project. I want to thank Mayor Sonny Park, who I'm sure is somewhere here, for having the vision to join us. I want to thank our police chief, Robert Dunn, for his amazing work on getting this across the finish line, as well as our city manager, our city staff, and Ms. Kelly Fritzl in particular, who has been a godsend. I want to acknowledge Congressman Young Kim, Chairman of the Orange County Board of Supervisors, Doug Chafee, and Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva for their efforts and, more importantly, their funding of this project. But I want to give my sincerest appreciation to my dear friend, Senator Josh Newman, for bringing money home to support this project. There's much work to be done, but today is a much-needed step forward. The Hope Center, along with the Governor's pioneering CARES Court initiative, that I was proud to be one of the first Orange County mayors to champion. California is on its way to progress on this issue. So thank you again, Governor Newsom, for your capacity to want justice and opportunity for all Californians. To deny the problem and retreat into our own bubbles betrays the duty that we have to future generations. So today I am proud to be a small part of the solution, and thank you all very much for this opportunity. And with that, I am extraordinarily honored to introduce our Assemblywoman, Sharon Quirk-Silva.
Thank you, and welcome everybody here to North Fullerton. But Fullerton is the home to many. I see many of our colleagues out there that represent local government, and it is through local government that many times has to grapple with homelessness. And they have put forward steps, but we know we are a long way off. Did you know here in Orange County that we lose almost 40 people, individuals, homeless individuals on our streets every month? This number continues to rise. Many of us know families, individuals that have grappled with how do they help a loved one, and yet those elusive options have seemed far away. And today we are here for hope. Just exactly what that means. It means that we are hopeful about the chances that we have to keep those dying on our streets down. And that's only going to happen with collaboration, with communication, and with compassion. And when we look at these 3 R's up here, the right people, the right resources, and right now, it is the time to take a stand together as Californians, as people who live in Orange County and are so proud of our county, but we must be there to meet the needs. We know that there are people that need our help, and I'm very proud to stand with this group, but also all of those care workers on our streets, sometimes called blue jackets, sometimes called service providers, whatever we call them, they're there and they're out there meeting those individuals that need so much help. I celebrate today, and I'm very hopeful for our future, and I want to thank our governor and his team for coming out and all of the people who have worked so hard for this. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. My name is Tom UMBERG, State Senator. This is a great day for Orange County. It's a testament to innovation, a testament to leadership, a testament to passion, a testament to collaboration. So thank you all for making this happen. Now I'm going to say some nice stuff about the governor. And Governor, I'd say it even if you hadn't signed most of my bills, I probably would say this anyway. But this is a perfect complement to the governor's innovative idea on care courts. Care courts are designed to provide accountability, to provide resources, to provide a mechanism to assist those who are the most challenged in terms of homelessness, those with schizophrenia, schizophrenia-like conditions, meth-induced schizophrenia. Very challenging issue. And Governor, I know this personally. I know of your passion. I know of your concern. I know how deeply engaged you've been in this issue. And Governor, I got to thank you on behalf of Orange County and on behalf of the 12,000 individuals who are afflicted with schizophrenia and the many thousands of their family members. This is fantastic. And so let me now turn to say some nice stuff about the guy I'm going to introduce, Senator Newsom. Now, I would say nice stuff about him probably even if he weren't my seatmate, even if he didn't, as we sit there for hours and hours, indulge my stories from the early 1990s when I was in the legislature. And even when I tell them twice, you act like you're interested. So thank you very much. I would say this, but let me tell you, Senator Newman has been engaged in this issue for at least 5 years. Even before his sabbatical, he was bugging me about this collaboration and the relationship between public safety and homelessness, the relationship between public safety and mental illness. Senator Newman, thank you so much. You have brought this together. It was the seed that you planted. It was your leadership that made this particular project happen. And so without further ado, let me introduce my friend, my seatmate, Senator Newman.
It is a special day when Tom UMBERG is nice to me. So it's so nice to see everybody here. So thank you for coming. And I look out and I see some of the wonderful people who lead some of the organizations that make such a difference. Carrie from his Rose Espinosa from Rosie's Garage, so nice to see you. Letty from Lot 318. Thank you, everybody, for being out here this afternoon. I am Josh Newman. I have the honor of representing the 29th Senate District, which includes North Orange County, which is the basis of what you're hearing about today. It is a huge honor to be able to welcome the governor here today to join us in the grand opening of this innovative new center. Today's ribbon cutting builds on 5 years of very solid work by the members of the North Orange County Public Safety Collaborative. As you've heard, it's an innovative and promising model for addressing the root causes of homelessness, youth violence, and post-incarceration reentry. And it is centered firmly around a premise of regional cooperation and coordination using data-centric, evidence-based approaches that we learn from, that we apply. So some quick background, you heard people refer to it. In the spring of 2017, a group of chiefs and city managers from some of the various cities in North Orange County came to my office to share some of the challenges they were facing, especially in the area of homelessness. And they had an idea, as the chief referenced, based on a set of observations, which made sense to me then, it makes sense to me now. And in a nutshell, the argument went as follows, that the problems driving homelessness in our area defied being contained in any one single city, much less solved, and that it seemed to them, based on their shared experience and the challenges they'd encountered, that any truly effective unit of management to really get at this problem should be in the form of something bigger than a city, but probably smaller than a county. And it was upon that premise that we went out and secured funding in the Budget Act of 2017 for the first $20 million, $5 million for each of the first 4 years, for a regional multi-city interdisciplinary collaborative initiative, which would deliberately coordinate resources and share data as a basis for better aligning the efforts of all of these cities and all of the groups within these cities that were working on the same problem, but often not in concert. So now here we are in the 6th year of the collaborative's ongoing efforts, and I'm very proud to report the results have validated that premise. And not only are we seeing progress in moving people into housing and services, we're doing it without the need for arrest. And let me emphasize that I think that's the most remarkable thing. We've got 11 cities, some of which are represented by the county sheriffs, others by their own sworn officers, by their chiefs. And we are making progress without having to arrest our way out of it. That is indeed a change of mindset, and it makes a huge difference. I'm proud this program should serve as a model for replication in other areas across the state, especially as the foundation and complement, as you've heard, to the governor's vision for enhanced interventional tools created by the legislation we passed earlier this year, largely through the leadership of Senator Tom Umberg on my side and Senator Susan Eggman in the state Senate. What you see behind me, or I guess to the side of me, is the next phase for the collaborative. This is the Hope Center. This facility will serve as a critical hub for subject matter experts, healthcare workers, community-based organizations, and local law enforcement to coordinate and deliver resources efficiently under one roof. As you take the tour, you'll see the mobile vans that we've also secured that will be used as part of this effort. So I'd like to thank Mayor Jung, the members of the City Council, as well as City Manager Eric Levitt and his staff, especially Kelly, for their leadership and generosity in bringing this facility online. Let me also commend and salute my friend and colleague, Assemblymember Sharon Quick-Silva, for all of the work that she has done over so many years and continues to do in the areas of homelessness, housing, and mental health services. Finally, I'd like to express my gratitude to Senator Dianne Feinstein, Supervisor Doug Chafee, for helping secure federal and county funds, respectively, which were critical to the final Hope Center renovations that you'll see, and for fully staffing this operation. So as we commemorate the next exciting chapter of the collaborative, inaugurate operations here at the Hope Center, I want you to hear from one of the service providers. It's my privilege to now introduce George SEARCY from Jamboree Housing Corporation, one of our key community partners, which has been instrumental in providing shelter to homeless individuals. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Well, my real role here today is to introduce our real celebrity guest, who is Teresa Posada, who is an Orange County resident and has benefited from many of the programs. I'm just here to walk you through a little bit of an understanding about the context of how this happened. And let me just say that on behalf of all of us at Jamboree and all of us standing up here, we're all very grateful that Teresa has been willing to share her story. As you can imagine, this can be a pretty intimidating environment, so we're very grateful for her to be brave and to stand up and to be of service in this way. So thank you, Teresa, very much. I would just want to say, first of all, our thanks go to Senator Josh Newman for supporting this innovative and creative North Orange County Public Safety collaboration of cities, whose creation of this center will continue to improve coordination of resources and improving outcomes for folks like Teresa, who are our most vulnerable residents. Our thanks also particularly go to Governor Newsom for a couple of reasons. One is for the groundbreaking Home Key program that is creating both interim housing options, which Teresa has benefited from, and it's part of her story, and I'll let her tell it. But in essence, what the Home Key program has done is brought new housing resources, which are converting things like motels on the streets of Orange County into interim solutions. And then when the interim housing option is complete, we convert those units into permanent housing. So it's the perfect solution. And I also have to say that the Newsom administration's innovative CalAIM program is using Medi-Cal dollars in a preventive way to allow providers like Mercy House, Friendship Shelter, Jamboree, and other agencies in Orange County to actually provide supportive services to folks like Teresa who need not only housing and shelter options, they need the support that goes along with it to transition through the system so that they wind up at a positive place and we get an outcome which several of us have been listening to Teresa's story this afternoon, and it's awesome and inspiring. And I also have to say to you that we're celebrating Teresa's birthday today, so I encourage you to congratulate her.
85.
So in Orange County, just to complete my part of this celebration today, I just want to say that the CalAIM program is allowing thousands of people in Orange County who are homeless and formerly homeless to benefit from preventive services through the Medi-Cal system that are also being connected to the Home Key units that are coming online to create the perfect solution that creates great outcomes for this community and all other communities in Orange County. And with no further ado, let me introduce to you Ms. Teresa Posada.
Okay, so I won't get intimidated. I won't look at you, okay? Okay, first of all, I want to dedicate my story and what I have here to Governor Newsom, and to the homeless people. So I'm going to start with a little something that happened to me. Like I was just getting so anxious because I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was like, what's happening, Lord? So I prayed to God one day, crying out to him, God, I can't make it anymore. I'm tired of roaming from place to place for 8 to 10 years, chasing the vouchers and never able to receive one. I'm not complaining because I know you hate complainers, but I'm tired and I'm getting very old without a home for myself. If you won't give me one, please take me. I'm so tired of going from place to place. And guess what? He answered me. And the first thing he told me, so you thought that you knew how it was to be homeless because you worked for them all your working life? I said, yes, Lord, I think I know. Because, you don't know. You're going to go through it. I said, all right, Lord, I'm your servant. I'll do whatever you want me to do. So I didn't know what I was getting into. So anyway, homelessness can happen to anyone. I would like to start my story with Philippians 4:11. Not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content, because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I lived in Orange County about 2 years. Being so close to the beach has been great. I love to spend time watching God's marvelous work. Today is my 85th birthday. I have lived a full life. I think I did it all. I was married, divorced, widowed, and in the process I had 4 beautiful children, 12 grandchildren, 17 great-grandchildren, and counting. So, and I have nieces and nephews and cousins and in-laws. I can't forget the in-laws or they'll get me. All my work history had to do with assisting the poor and the homeless, with a few side jobs like teaching. I taught the Hispanics how to pass the American citizenship. And I also worked with the Cubans that came from Cuba, and I was their vocational instructor. I taught them how to merge into the community without sticking out like a sore thumb. I taught them how to live like we do here and how to keep a job. So that was my side jobs. And I also worked, my last job was security. I worked because I didn't want to stop working. I wanted to keep working. So I worked security. That was another story. Okay, life brings many changes, and we must accept them and do the best we can, never giving up or blaming others for our choices. The above story was my life before I became homeless. I would love to tell you about my life as a homeless person. Believe me, I never thought it would happen to me. So in my life, I have always been a high-functioning person and now an elderly person. I can't believe I'm that old. Really, it doesn't feel like it. And still very active in needing to continue my independence and keep my dignity. And trying to explain to my children my desires of wanting to keep my independence. They didn't think I was able, so they wanted to help me and so do other family members. So they have helped me throughout the years of my life. And I am ever so thankful for their help. But I still want to keep my independence and my dignity and do it my way as long as the Lord gives me the strength and a good mind. Then, because of an unforeseen event, I became homeless and had to live in my car until a sheriff found me and referred me to a shelter. Before the sheriff found me, I lived an experience that I'll never forget. That was the scariest experience I've ever had. I was sleeping and I parked my car by a Chevron station, so I thought I was going to be safe there. I even got permission from the guy that ran the station. And so I went to sleep thinking I was fine. And so and behold, somebody was moving my door, trying to get into my car, trying to get the car. And he tried really hard, kicked it and everything that he could to get into it. And I prayed, Lord, please get rid of him. What am I going to do if he gets me? He's probably going to take the car and kill me. Please get rid of him, Lord. And he did. He gave up and left. Then, because of an unforeseen event, I became homeless, and I had to live in my car until a sheriff found me and referred me to a shelter. So when you are homeless, you wait till everyone else goes home. Then you find a spot where you think you will be safe and be able to go to sleep, away from people. In the morning, I would go to McDonald's before people would come by to eat and clean up and change clothes and eat. Then I would spend a lot of time in the library searching for homes to rent. Then one day, I got tired of doing the same things without results. So I hurried to Yorba Linda City Hall and asked if they happened to have a homeless program to assist the homeless. They did, and they asked, "Who's it for?" I answered, "Me." They said, "What? Don't you have any kids?" I don't want to go there. Yes, it happened. It can happen to anyone, I said. I answered, it can really happen to anyone, so please, can I just get some help? And they referred me to the sheriff, and I said, "You're going to call the sheriff on me? Is he going to put me in jail?" And they said, no, the sheriff's department is going to help you. Oh, okay. Then the sheriff took me to Mercy, a shelter called Mercy House. And they had 65 women. It was organized and had a routine as to what time we would eat, rest, take showers, etc. And we had a caseworker that would help us get organized, see a doctor if we felt ill, or have time to spend away from the center, providing we got permission, and a time to get back. They also had security search our going out and our coming in. It was rough living with a lot of young women with mental health from drugs or who knows. I was up in age, they moved me to a better safe place, a hotel in Stanton. In Stanton, the program was called American Family Housing. This program was more advanced in assisting us to find a home. At least I thought that. They provided us with food. A doctor came by every Wednesday and checked us for COVID. The caseworkers filed our paperwork, got us registered with Housing Authority and other programs that could assist us with our personal problems. Meantime, we found ways to exercise, to get extra food with stores and restaurants around us, and filled our time getting to know each other and became a close-knit family. I say that because everybody there was homeless, so none of us could say, hey, I'm better than you. No, we were all homeless, and we all cared for each other. And if anybody was sick, we would go out of our ways and go get them food. Or one time, somebody got COVID right across from my bedroom, and I called her and said, do you need some help? Could I go get you some food? Somebody helped me when I had COVID, so I want to help you. But they're not going to let you, Terry. Yes, I know they're not going to let me, but you tell me what you need, and I'll go get it, and I'll put it by your door, and I'll tell you when it's there. Oh, that'll work. So we did that. I felt good because somebody had helped me go through COVID, and so I was able to help somebody get food and their needs when they were going through it. So we did things like that with each other. We helped each other. So as time went by, we would meet with our counselors and planned together how to find that much desired home we each wanted. When we got depressed, we would pray together and talk for hours about our problems and how to solve them. One time, even a security officer went up there and joined us in prayer. And he said, can I lead? And I said, of course you can lead us. And he prayed with us, and he prayed that we would get a home and that we were really nice people, that he prayed that God would help us. So thanks to Pathways of Hope and Jamboree, we were able to complete our work in progress. Pathways of Hope provided our transition by paying for some of our needs, like a bed, table, whatever our needs were, and paid our deposit toward our rental assistance. Jamboree assisted us with many other needs, such as moving us, transportation, where we needed to go, like doctor appointments, whatever our needs were. Thanks to God for all these agencies working together. They have made our dreams come true. Having a home for ourselves. God bless our country for providing that for us. Now in my home, helping me is in-home supportive services. I will be going through eye surgery, and they will be providing me with whatever help I need, because when they do this eye surgery, I won't be able to see, so they'll be coming in and helping. So the next thing that I want to do is, I don't want to sit down, or I don't want to join a bingo program. I want to go and help and work and volunteer with the seniors, with the homeless, with the people that are needing help. The thing that hurts the most with the homeless is the people, they need somebody to talk to. They need somebody to say what's hurting them the most. They need that special touch from somebody that will give them an ear, that will hear them. So that's what I want to plan for my future. I want to be around them and listen to them and be there for them. And also I want to find a church. I love the Lord, so I want to find a Christian church that I can attend. And so I will be visiting the homeless and finding a church. And I leave you with that. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate you being here.
Good job, Teresa. Here you go, sweetie.
Thank you, Teresa. So thank you, Teresa, for your having the courage to tell us your story. So glad and very proud to have the governor here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom.
Thanks, Senator. Thank you, Teresa, for putting a human face on today's discussion. First, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to be here. I want to thank the remarkable group of leaders assembled behind me for making today's ribbon cutting possible. As Senator Newman pointed out, this has been a 6-year journey to locate anew at this site some 48 different CBOs, all coordinating in a collaborative fashion, the likes of which you rarely see as it relates to homeless delivery in this state, and for that matter, even across this nation. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your incredible support of Care Court, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. Chief, thank you for your leadership, but also your stewardship, for your faith and devotion to the cause that unites us here as well, and changing the conversation, changing the paradigm of engagement. That's what community policing is all about. That's what community building is all about. That's what public safety is all about, and I'm very grateful for your leadership. To Senator Unberg, we'll talk more about in a moment, and as truly, as Josh said, a champion of Care Court. It was the principal sponsor of that legislation and what it holds as a promise moving forward. And of course, Assemblywoman Sharon Quicksilver, who we just did another event, who consistently is delivering for the region. I couldn't be more honored to be here with you today. Look, Teresa made a comment about continuing to do what you've done, and that's unacceptable. And I think let's level set. What's happening as it relates to homelessness in the state of California is unacceptable. What's happening on the streets and sidewalks is unacceptable. What's persisted in this state for decades is unacceptable. And so one has to acknowledge that. One has to take responsibility and take ownership of that. I'm not here to cast aspersions. I'm not here to wax on about the good old days. I'm not here with the closed fist either to lay blame at the feet of others. We need to own this issue. And I want folks to know we do. And I say we because the state of California in the past was nowhere to be found on the issue of homelessness. Nowhere. I don't think I know this. I know this as a former county mayor. Just a number of years ago, I never looked to Governor Schwarzenegger or Davis on the issue of homelessness. There was no homeless strategy. There was no homeless plan. In fact, when I got here a few years ago, because of the leadership of a number of people behind me, we had the first allocation from the state of California, some $500 million, which at the time was extraordinary. The Big 13 mayors demanded that Governor Brown do something as it relates to the homeless issue. And we just threw that money out near the end of the session. There was no accountability, there was no strategies, there was no responsibility in terms of the application implementation around those dollars. Today, from no plans, no strategies, 3.5 years later, we just approved a budget together, $15.3 billion in multi-year investments to address a multitude of issues that led us to where we are today. We mean business, and I want folks to know you can't turn this overnight. You can't turn around decades of neglect overnight. One often overstates what we can accomplish in a year or two, but we also tend to understate what we can accomplish in 5 and 10 years, and I won't do that. I'm extraordinarily enthusiastic about what this state has done over the last number of years to seed real reforms and real strategies, and to support novel programs like this that are all about data, all about outcomes, creating platforms literally and figuratively of engagement, breaking down silos, which are incredibly vexing and frustrating, creating partnerships, not just public-private partnerships, but perhaps more powerfully, public-public partnerships. 11 cities working with each other, cities working with the county, nonprofits working together with law enforcement, people taking responsibility and taking it upon themselves to recognize that we all have component parts of the solution, but unless we deal with the comprehensive needs of individuals like Teresa, we're never going to fundamentally solve this problem. George brought up a number of remarkable programs, and the idea that he connected those dots is the idea we want to bring to this conversation today. And I'll be very brief, and I know you have a lot on your mind in terms of questions. The investments this state has made as it relates to the home key model, 12,500 units in the last 24 months of new permitted housing that have been directly funded and brought into escrow by the state. These are not those $500,000 units that take 6, 8, 10 years. The first round of Home Key, $846 million, we were able per unit to get the state contribution below $150,000 in that first round. 200 projects, Stanton's one of them, they brought 3 in to their credit. Helped Teresa. She may not be here had we not done that. Immediate relief, not 5, 10 years of discussion, conversation, NIMBYism, frustration, anger, taxpayers. I can't believe I'm wasting my money. How the hell will you elect that person again? Over and over, the rhetoric stale beyond words. 12,500 units. And we're just winding up. We put $5.8 billion into that program. Buy hotels and motels, start converting things in record time at record low costs. We're addressing the issue of time value of money in terms of driving land use reforms and dealing with regulatory issues. Because everybody wants to solve a problem, but no one wants that problem solved anywhere near them. This program is rather remarkable. What are we behind? There's a preschool right behind me. And an extraordinary program solving the most vexing issue of our time, homelessness, right next door, proving the paradigm. We can all live together and advance together and prosper together once we disabuse ourselves of the processes we've created and the problems we, as a result, have created. And so, look, I've been at this for years as a former mayor, former county supervisor. I've seen good programs. I've seen terrible programs. I've seen money wasted. I've seen, the same advocacy on all sides of this for years and years produce little in the way of results, just more rhetoric. But I'm starting to see something a little different as I travel the state. And the reason I came down here is I believe success leaves clues. There's a power of emulation. Senator Newman's been 2 years demanding I get down here. And we finally used this ribbon cutting as an excuse to come down. Because he's taking this program, which he's been able to draw down and patch together, and thank you, Supervisor Chafee and others, for organizing about $36 million of funding over these years for this program, and now they're taking it to a whole nother level. And they're taking it to the streets. I'm done with outreach that's nothing more than inreach, where you wait 9 to 5, and if someone shows up at 5:01, say, we're sorry, we're closed. We're talking about vans that go out proactively. We talk about multidisciplinary teams. We talk about reconciling the fact that a lot of the issues can easily be resolved if we can just walk through and process solutions like getting a driver's license. I mean, how many of you have a hard time going down the damn DMV? Can you imagine living on the sidewalks? And if you don't have an ID, you can't even begin the process of getting into a program. Starting to address those issues in a very deliberative and impactful way. And so this program works. Hope Center is a remarkable program. I'm honored to be here with all of you. And I just want you to know, because I know your frustration, that this state is entering a completely new era in terms of support and accountability. Final words. There's no state vision that's realized in Sacramento. State vision is realized at the local level. And so, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. As a former mayor, mayors get it. They're not ideological. They try to get things done. And so we have to be there for you and have your back, but we also have to express ourselves that we expect more in return. If we're going to provide unprecedented support, if we're going to address the issue Care Court's going to address as it relates to people with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, paranoia, people self-medicating with drug or alcohol addictions, and we're going to create some opportunities to get law enforcement in a compassionate way, work with social workers and work with family members and community leaders to actually address those vexing issues. We want to see results. We want to see encampments clean up in this state. I put out $48 million yesterday in new encampment resolution grants to 7, 8 counties in this state. We want to see real results, and we want to see them right now. People are frustrated. They've had enough, too much rhetoric, too many of these press conferences, not enough results. And so that's the spirit that brings me down to one of the most bucolic and spectacular regions on planet Earth, Orange County. Eat your heart out, Texas. We got Orange County in every way, shape, or form. Eat your heart out, Texas. And so that's the spirit. And I'll just close because spirit seems the operative word with Teresa. You know, I think the Bible teaches us something else, not only in terms of the fellowship and devotion Teresa has placed in a higher authority, but the Bible teaches us we're many parts, but one body. And when one part suffers, we all suffer. A lot of people are suffering. We're all suffering. It's been a hard few years. All that stacking of stress, everything that could have, would have, should have happened, everybody looking backwards. We are where we are. And we're a remarkable state, a remarkable region, a remarkable moment in our history. And on these issues that bring us here today, I'm here firmly grounded in optimism and faith, but faith with the good work and works being done here and all across our state. The best, I assure you, is yet to come. Thank you guys very much for being out here, and we're now happy to take any questions.
Hi. Hi, my name is Tess Shees. I'm with OC Register. I was curious if somebody could speak a little bit to how the collaborative measures its impact and what type of data the Hope Center and the collaborative uses, what type of information they collect, how do they use that, and how does it further
I
its
love
goals?
it. And we're gonna get the director up here because I think what makes
You got the chief
the chief, even better. What makes this so special is the independent assessment that is done in-house to validate what is being asserted here and the platform in terms of that data collection that is provided in transparency in real time. Chief, congrats for all that leadership.
Thank you.
making that happen.
So we get metrics kind of two different ways. The first way is we use an application called Outreach Grid, and that is the application that drives our outreach efforts. So we several years ago, we did a county census, and we utilized the application to collect people by name with their approval, and we've been tracking those 1,300 or so people that we contacted throughout our time with them in our region. And so we look at that data to find out where people often fall out of the system, and then we come up with strategies to try to shore up those particular areas with money or programs, or find a community-based organization that can shore that up to stop people from falling out in that particular area, be it transitional housing or they have pets or other impediments to taking services. And so that's one way that we do it. And Outreach Grid is what drives, and in fact, at this center is our dispatching tool. So when people call in and there's non-criminal related issues with the homeless, they will be routed here and sent to subject matter experts, not law enforcement, to triage those particular individuals. So that's one piece of it. The other part is, since its inception, we have partnered with Cal State Fullerton Social Science Research Center. And when you take your tour, you'll see Laura Gil-Trejo, who is the director of that. And we've been testing our efficacy all the way through. 60% of our funding that we get from the state goes to community-based organizations, and we make sure that they're delivering what we have asked them to deliver in our region. And we do that through surveying the members that take services from those various community-based organizations. We have the director meets with those community-based organizations and follows them with certain metrics to make sure that they're reaching those. They have to provide us with regular reporting about their efforts. And so every year we produce a report, which you can find on our website, because we want to prove that we're being good stewards of the money that we're receiving from the state and that we're actually getting outcomes. And so through our efforts with the Social Science Research Center, as well as the data-driven work that we do through Outreach Grid, which really is the kind of the nucleus of our operation here, those are the two ways that we do our metrics. And I can share more with you on the side about kind of specific issues with those, and you can find our reports online as well.
Vicki Vargas, NBCLA, questions for the governor. You brought up the fact that you announced these encampment resolution grants. I think they just came out officially yesterday. $48 million, 8 communities. Twofold question. It's for some 1,300 people, which works out to about $35,000 per individual. What is that used for, A? And B, why isn't Orange County on that list?
So we put up $50 million 2 years ago. It was a pilot project to specifically target encampments. State had never had any funds directly available to address the issue of encampments. It was so overwhelmingly successful and oversubscribed that working with legislative leaders, these three remarkable leaders here today, we requested an additional $700 million, which was just appropriated. So this is the second round, 48 million, of those that were oversubscribed but were on the list and prioritized from the previous round. The next round, we're cleaning up the old list. The next round, the applications are just coming in, is $650 million over the next few years in terms of those resources. And we're looking forward to those applications from Orange County, from cities and counties, COCs, which are these regional agencies, all across the state. The money is not just for the individuals, but the encampment resolution component, the resolution, is not a whack-a-mole strategy. The idea is, all right, we're just going to clean up the encampment, but you've cleaned up none of the problem because you've got folks now that have just been displaced and we haven't addressed any of the underlying issues. And so the resolution is actually resolving the underlying issues. So in the application, you have to identify not only the encampment, all the costs of cleaning them up, and then rebuilding sites, which are all component parts, but then also what the individual is going to look for in terms of the services that you're providing with accountability metrics at the back end. And that's why this is a very novel strategy and one that we think holds a lot of promise. This, again, is just the next round of many, many rounds, $750 million over the last 2 years appropriated for this program.
And so is the goal that many of those will look like this? Is that what your hope is?
Well, I mean, look, no, this is one component of that $15.3 billion. This is $750 million of the 15.3. And this is specifically to address the encampments. None of us can take the encampments anymore. There was an encampment, it's 4 football fields long up in Oakland that we just cleaned up. $4.7 million the state put up. 4 football fields long. I've personally been involved in over 1,000, by the way, PolitiFact this. I personally initiated and have been involved. We had an original goal of getting 100 encampments cleaned up. We smashed that goal by over 900. We reached 1,000. We were in Fresno when we announced that we hit that number. We mean business as it relates to cleaning things up, but doing it again in a thoughtful way and doing something meaningful on the back end, so we're not just misleading people that we're solving a problem as opposed to just moving a problem.
Hi, Governor. This is Rena Nakano with CBS 2 KCAL. My question is, of course, there are people like Teresa who are seeking the help, but there are many who want to remain off the grid. How do you help people like that, especially with a place like this?
Well, I think there's a lot of mythology. I've been at this for years and years. When I say I'm involved in encampment cleanups, I mean I'm actively, individually involved. I've done more homeless outreach than many homeless outreach teams over the last 25 years. No exaggeration. Been a point of pride and passion for me, this issue. It's been one of the most vexing and frustrating things I've ever been associated with, because everybody's expression is unique. Everybody's history and challenges are unique. But one thing I've come to completely push back against is the notion of service resistance. I think that's a lazy mindset. I've seen people that have been out there for years and years and years, and then we start to continue to try to work and not give up, and we finally meet that individual where they are at that moment in that day. That's why I love these vans. That's why I love this data platform you have. You were just telling me that you have folks doing outreach, and all of a sudden someone miraculous, after 5 years, you've seen that person every night. They're finally ready. And then you go, where are we going to go? And then, well, hold on, I have to make some calls. And you're literally dialing up, hoping someone on the other end answers the phone. Now we have a platform. You have a platform down here in Orange County, in 11 cities, that allow real-time access and that immediate care. That could be the game changer. Or you find out someone, they've got a dog, and that shelter doesn't provide dogs. Or they have a spouse, and they don't provide couples. Or they're still self-medicating, and you got to be clean and sober. Got to meet people where they are. And that's the approach we're taking in terms of the flexibility of the funding, and the approach that I think will prove determinative in terms of addressing this mythology around service resistance. Sure, there's always an exception. But I think there's a lazy punditry that says, well, all these people like Teresa love living in their cars, you know, and asking the Chevron attendant if it's okay to spend the night. I think we have to be careful about that, is my point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Governor. Jessica De Nova with ABC7. It's good to see you here in Orange County again. Yesterday, I started work on a story on homelessness, and it kind of talks about the concentration of homeless shelters and aid for the homeless communities throughout the county. And I ran into a lot of North County and Central County leaders are taking a lot of that responsibility. The cities are taking a lot of that responsibility. And I think in June, an OC grand jury put out a report specifically saying that there needs to be an emergency shelter opened in South County. How can the state help disperse that, that responsibility that really we all need to take on across the nation?
I'm going to answer that very specifically, but let me acknowledge the leadership in North County. It's pretty self-evident. Represented by Chair of the Board of Supervisors, who's been a champion, by the mayor, and of course our elected officials, being willing to take responsibility. And we're grateful for that. The answer to your question is a stubborn one. We've been handing out money to cities and counties and these regional bodies, CACs, without asking for much in return. That just changed. I have 75 accountability plans. First time we've ever required cities and counties and COCs to provide detailed plans to share the responsibility and opportunity to help people off the streets. And we are reviewing those 75 plans. They're required in order to get discretionary money. Those plans have 6 specific measurements. They're 3-year plans, and the plans have to connect at a local and regional basis. And it connects the responsibility more broadly that needs to be shared amongst all of us, north, south, east, west, county by county, city by city. I will be talking a lot more about those plans next week and being more explicit and specific. Those plans will be made public, and those plans will provide the opportunity for the taxpayers to judge for themselves who's stepping up and who needs to do more to meet their responsibilities at the local level. So these local accountability plans are a pathway to solving for those disparities which persist.
Thank you. And I was told at the beginning to say that I was the last person on the question, so I apologize. I forgot to say that at the beginning. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for that question and that opportunity to share. And now I'll just I'll close on this, and that is to just once again celebrate the leaders that are here today and express my gratitude. Final words. I travel all up and down the state. People run from this issue. And then people politicize this issue, and they point fingers. And they run from this issue because success is often not a place or a definition. You know, it's hard to prove it. If you house 10,000 people and 11,000 people are still out in the streets, people say you're a failure, even though you've housed 10,000 people, because of the dynamic nature of this issue. And politicians run from it. And that's why we have the problems we have. These leaders are taking responsibility, and they should be recognized. Democrats and Republicans, the chief, this is what it's about. And so Orange County, it doesn't surprise me, and this is why this is my final word, that you've seen a 23% reduction in your point of time count in this county. It is one of the best performing counties in the state of California, and it's because of the leaders here today. Job well done. Let's keep up the good work. A lot more to be done. Thank you guys very, very much.